How active in media you are, and because we were chit-chatting before starting the recording, and you told me very interesting stories.
Yes, of course, we have a broadcasting company, so we broadcast to about 30 African countries, except the World Cup, which we broadcast to over 50 African countries.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
It was not taken away from you by the Qataris?
No, no. We broadcast, we had the rights to broadcast across the entire African continent.
So why 50, even though we have 52 countries in Africa? So
well, there were some we didn't broadcast into North Africa, into most of the North African countries.
Egypt, Libya, Morocco, Tunisia.
That's right. And so, but basically we held the rights for Sub-Sahara and the islands and so forth. So but we broadcast some 77 broadcast channels.
Via what? What is the medium? Is it satellite? Or?
All platforms, across 4 platforms in fact. So we have a sports channel which is free to air and is available in about 30 African countries. It's a 24 hours, so that's where you get English Premier League and a couple of other things. Then we have the normal pay TV channels, which you get through a satellite decoder. And we also broadcast on mobile phones.
Oh, you do?
We have about 7 million customers on mobile phones. It's our fastest growing part of our business.
Do the networks in Africa support this?
Yes, yes. We do it through a partnership with 32 operators. But you have to obviously have good 3G, 4G data to be able to pick it up. But remember, already Africa has over 300 million smartphones. So it's a fast-growing space.
Tell me this kind of division between Sub-Saharan Africa and North Africa and the rest of Africa. How do you see it from the point of view of somebody who's involved in almost every single African country? What is this division?
And we have to fight these divisions because a lot of them are kind of colonial type divisions. You hear people say Sub-Sahara, the Maghreb, Anglophone Africa, Francophone Africa. It means nothing. The reality when we look at Africa, we look from Cape to Cairo. We look at Africa from Cape Town to Tangier. So for me it doesn't mean anything.
It doesn't mean to you anything, but that tells us if we want to fight something, then you need to know what it is and how it's built, how it is in the minds of Africans, how they view it. And it's a culture, it's a heritage that needs to be changed. So you need to diagnose the disease in the first place.
It is true. Let's take, for example, media. If I want to buy the rights to English Premier League, they would tell you there is a package for Sub-Sahara and there is a package for North Africa and the Middle East. And so these divisions actually become much more substantive in the business sense from that perspective. But obviously the future generations, they must see Africa more from the perspective of its cities, its economies. I sit on the African Union task force for its reform.
Okay, that's interesting.
So there is a task force appointed by the heads of state. And it sits under the chair of the African Union. And we are working on reform to say Africa has 1.2 billion people. We must create, we will never be competitive until we take the steps that enable us to open this market. First of all, to ourselves.
Sure.
Yeah. Egypt must be able to see, Egyptian companies must be able to feel they can move goods and services and people in an African market. So these are some of the reforms I work on. So my passion goes to being something more practical.
You know that Egypt will be presiding over the African Union in 2019.
Well, as a member of that task force, I am very, very alive to it and eagerly waiting for it. I'm hoping that I will be able to work with President Sisi as well as I've worked with President Kagame.